Hey guys, welcome back to the Her Press Box podcast. I'm Madeline.
I'm Juliana.
And we are so happy you guys are here. Today, we have a special treat for you. One of my goals for the year was to have a special guest on the podcast once a month. And so, we have a special guest today. Our first ever special guest in Her Press Box history. Miss Sierra Francesca. Okay, are you ready for some questions?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, first things first, you grew up playing hockey. So what was one of your favorite memories from growing up and playing hockey?
There's so many to pick from. Honestly, I think hockey as a whole would soccer was my main sport. It was the sport that I was training 4+ hours a day. I played hockey for my high school and then like a spring league season. And as an entirety, like the tight-knitness, is that a word? Of hockey is just puts it at the top of the list for me. Like I was a soccer goalkeeper, and so a lot of my training was separate, and my coach would often like pit my team against me. So like practice would end with they're taking shots. If I save it, they have to run sprints. So it's like if I don't save it, then I have to run sprints. And so it's like we were kind of like in this like punishment relationship with each other. And yeah, there just like wasn't that same kind of bonding because I spent so much of practice just like separated from my team. But hockey players, one, they go to war for their goalie. And like regardless of where you're at, whether you're a first liner or like a fourth line scratch, like I just think like the team environment of hockey is just why it's held my heart for so long. But I guess if I have to pick like a specific memory, my sophomore year of high school, we were in the semifinals and we were playing against our rivals, and the practice beforehand, we were just like not locked in. This is going to sound like not a good memory, but it's really funny in hindsight. We were just like not locked in, and my coach got so mad and she put us on the goal line and she had us doing like the miracle bag skates, like the again. And she was, oh my gosh, she was so scary. She was like, do you think West Haven's gonna go easy on you again? And then we'd like go and do it, and then we get to the line, and then she would be like, do you think, and she was like name dropping players from the other team. She's like, do you think this girl is gonna do that? And like I think like 3 girls threw up. It was awful. Like it was like I think like a couple girls were crying. Next day we play the game. I scored the first 2 goals of the game, and I think we ended up tying 3-3, so we went into overtime. And then we ended up, I don't have like a great story. We ended up winning. And we didn't even like win the championship, but that semifinal game, it kind of like, it was just funny, like that we did the miracle skates, and then like the miracle movie isn't even about the championship. And we go on, we win the semifinals, and then like we're in the locker room taking like our water bottles and like like we were losing our minds. And yeah, it was just like whenever I think about my high school hockey career, I always think about like that moment. Like it was like honestly like the lowest low and the highest high, like all within 24 hours of each other. And yeah, I don't know. I like that one.
What position did you play?
I was a center. I started my freshman year as a left wing, which is funny because I shoot righty. But they had me, I have a preference now to like play on my offhand side because of that. But yeah, I mostly played center.
Is that what you play now?
Yeah, I mostly play like just like recreationally, or like I'll go to tournaments and stuff. I guess depending on like what level I'm in will depend on where I go. But yeah, either left wing or center, but I shoot righty.
Very nice. Okay, so you said you're from New England, you're from Connecticut. What inspired you? What motivated you? What made you move to California?
Yeah, I visited California on a family vacation when I was 13 years old. It was the summer before my freshman year of high school, and I just fell in love with it. I mean, we went to San Diego. How could you not? we drove up to LA for a day and did like every touristy thing you can imagine. And I just like, full disclosure, I was a huge One Direction fan. This is like 2012.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
go.
This is like 2012. I was a very shy kid. One Direction was like the first thing I like showed like extreme interest in. And like I was following their story and they were just getting like mainstream success in the States. And I was like, I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to do this too. And so like I was always a creative kid. And something about their story was just like, I'm going to do music. And so from that moment on, 2012 on, it was like California or bust. I was planning so soccer, I had a lot of college coaches that were interested in me, and I was only entertaining the ones in California. Like, there were coaches in North Carolina, in Florida, Chicago, and I was like, it's California. Like, I'm not going anywhere else. And my parents, like, had to force me to, like, go to these schools and go to these visits. They're like, well, keep your options open. Like, if you get an offer, you can use that to, like, bargain with other schools. Yeah, I was looking at schools in California, and then... yeah, so I had an injury in between my junior and senior year. Yeah, California was just like the only thing I saw for myself. I ended up going to a school in Chicago, which was not California at all. Chicago suburbs, actually, to be clear. But yeah, as soon as I graduated, I hightailed it out of here. That was 2019. So I missed COVID. I graduated school a year early. Thank goodness, because then I would have been in COVID school. And honestly, probably I would have left Chicago, gone back to my parents' house in Connecticut, and probably not moved to California back then because the uncertainty of the pandemic. So graduating a year early really got me out here. Yeah, I moved to Santa Barbara. I lived there for 2 years. I lived in Long Beach for 6 months. And then I actually left and I moved to Nashville for 2 years, and then I moved back to LA 2.5 years ago. So, been a little everywhere. Yeah, but now I like actually live in Los Angeles, and it's kind of funny when you're like, oh, this is like what I like dreamt of for 13 years, you know? So, yeah, I think like growing up in Connecticut is very like, if you just think stereotypical, like very like academia, like finance, lawyer, like business. It's very business. And the creative in me as a kid was like crying out for some sort of creative community that I just had a really hard time finding. And so I really romanticized the West Coast for all of that. I also like hated the winter that I now miss. So like year-round sunshine was appealing. And then yeah, like a lot of it was the draw to creativity that I couldn't find back home. And I've definitely found it here. But then, you know, you move one place and then you start to appreciate the things that you didn't like about the last place. It's very fickle. But growing and learning.
What did you study in school?
I started as a music business major. I spent 3 semesters as a music business. It was like music business and entrepreneurship. And then I switched to communications. And then I finished that in 3 semesters. And the only thing keeping me from having a music business degree was I didn't take a piano proficiency exam because I finished all of the classes. Oh, it was piano proficiency and then like a capstone project. So I'm not going to lie. I lie and I tell people that I have 2 degrees because I'm like, I like did the whole curriculum minus like the final test and paper.
Yeah.
So I don't actually have 2 degrees. I have a bachelor's in communications. But like I essentially completed 2 degrees in 6 semesters. So my degree is in communications, but I also studied music business and entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so now you are a coach. You coach some Little League teams. Do we call them Little League in hockey? Little League teams.
Hockey, yeah.
And then you, women's, like beginner women's hockey league, right? Okay. So what is your favorite thing about being a coach?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, I love just sharing the game that I love. I mean, I am very biased. I think hockey is the best sport. Like, I think it's the only sport that requires absolutely everything of your mind, body, and spirit. Like, especially as a soccer goalie, like, there'd be games where I'd be standing, like, almost at the halfway mark, just, like, checked out because nothing happens. But hockey's so fast, and because, I mean, you're skating, you're sticking, like, you literally need your whole body. And then same thing as a spectator, like, you're just so invested. Like, you can't look up or else you'll miss, like, three things, you know? Um, so obviously, I just am fully enamored by the sport and the culture that comes with it. And so getting to share that with people is an honor and a privilege and a joy. But what has been really fun in coaching youth, so this past summer, I had an 8U team, a 10U team, and a 14U team. And it's so interesting, like the new generation of kids, and they're just so different, and like growing up in a totally different world than that of which we grew up in. And I feel like sports is one of the last areas of discipline, like in today's society. Like, I have friends who are teachers, and they're like struggling because like the kids just don't listen to them. They don't see teachers as authority. Everything is like met back with a challenge, or like, what, make me, like, all these things. And sports are still a lot different than what I grew up in. Like, the things some of my coaches made me do would like not fly today. And so it's fun for myself to figure out, like, okay, like, I can't fully use my past experiences to figure out what to do. So it's like, it's always like a puzzle, right? Like, figuring out, like, what does this kid need? How do I push them to be a good athlete? But also, like, how do I recognize that I am an adult role model in their life? And then especially like being one of the only women coaches on a team of mostly young boys, who maybe the only woman they've ever like looked up to has been their mom or their teacher. So like, just understanding that responsibility and like the unique role that I get to fill is really cool. I remember when I first started, the boys would like go up to the boy coaches and like fake fight with them and like tussle and stuff and like knock each other around. And I was like, oh, they don't do that with me. Like, I'm fun, I can handle it, like, I want to do this. And then I realized, like, okay, like, when my goaltender was crying in between the periods because he let in like 3 goals in a row, like, he didn't go to the guy coaches, he came to me and was like, I suck, like, this is so hard and I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, oh, I have this opportunity to like meet you in this emotional state that I personally never had a coach do that for me growing up. Like, it was very much suck it up, keep going, finish what you started. And so, like, yeah, like recognizing that I get to be in a role that I didn't have, but also like serving as a unique like figure in kids' lives is so cool. And it's just so interesting. Like, I feel like I learn something every day, learn about them, I learn about me, I learn something new about the sport, right? Like, when you're trying to like break down like the fundamental like mechanics of something that you've been doing your whole life, it's like it is in turn like a creative muscle, I'd say. It's kind of like the combination of everything I love. But that, and then with my like women's clinic, it's the same thing, but then like getting to speak to adult women rather than like 9-year-old boys. And so, like, how do I communicate these same values and concepts and meet them emotionally, but just like a totally different demographic? Yeah, because when I think about like my high school coach, she always said, I want you to be great hockey players on the ice, but I want you to be even better women off of it. And so everything she taught us on the ice correlated to something that we would take away and hopefully implement in our day-to-day lives. And I feel like I quote her like daily. Like, her, like, she was really big on like, do the next right thing. Like, if you mess up, like, don't like freeze up, don't come apologizing to me. She's like, get up and do the next right thing, like, make it right. And so I think that has taught me as a person just like not to dwell on failures or shortcomings. And it's like, oh, that happened, but like move through it, move on. Yeah. And so like knowing the impact that my coaches had on me and realizing that responsibility and like honor and privilege that I get to have in people's lives, all while teaching them literally the most fun game in the world. Like, let's go. That was a really long answer. I yap forever.
No, that's okay. I completely understand. I'm also a teacher full-time. So this generation,
you get it.
I understand it. It's not for the weak. Okay, so on top of being a coach, you're also a ref.
Yeah.
What is your craziest ref story?
Parent brawls. Parent brawls at like a 9U game. Like, it's like 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Like, why are we fighting? Like your kids like don't know
in the stands?
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Like, growing up going to like my brother, so I have an older brother who played travel like all growing up, and so many of my memories are being at his tournaments, and like he played pretty high competitive level travel hockey in Connecticut, and like cops would get called on the parents because they'd be fighting and like choking each other in the stands. And this was like my first tournament that I reffed in California. I also like first weekend being a referee, and I was like, okay, like yeah, I'll do this tournament. It's shorter games. It's a younger group, like it'll be a good way to ease it in. And yeah, it was like 9U, like the kids are like barely skating full ice, like they just graduated from like the blue rubber pucks. Like this will be really easy. And then the parents are going at it in the stands. I was like, I don't know what you're fighting about. I'm pretty sure your kids are playing together like last season. And like I couldn't do anything up from the ice. Like there are some like USA Hockey like rules, and like I'd honestly have to refresh my memory on them, like when it comes to like parent and like coach altercations. But yeah, like I think like the coach can get like fined or like suspended or something. Like I don't know. I should read the book. But what happened after the game was I'm walking to my car and the parents approached me. They didn't like do anything, but they were like, hey, ref. And I was like, yeah, me? I'm not a ref. Like, do you see stripes? I'm not wearing any stripes. And they're like, what the hell was that? And I was like, I don't know. Like, there was a lot going on in the game. Like, we were only doing a 2-ref system, which if you're like familiar, like, youth hockey at a lower level, they'll do 2 refs. So you're kind of like in this, let me pull out my board. Like you're just kind of in this yo-yo system where like one ref will like go and take care of here. And then if the puck goes this way, the other ref will go this way. And the ref that's here will stay on the blue line. So it's like it's kind of like a yo-yo system, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas in a 3-ref system, you have your center referee and then you have your 2 linesmen who can better, sorry, the light is awful, catch the offsides and the goals and stuff. And so it was a 2-ref system, which means there's just 2 people watching all these little kids who are still learning how to skate. And like, I come from a let them play sort of philosophy. Like, USA Hockey does say like, oh, it doesn't matter if it was and like this is true amongst many leagues. Like it doesn't matter if it was intentional. Like if you trip someone, accident or not. And like I think at the lower levels there is a element of they're still just like learning like their whole like spatial awareness. And the philosophy is yes, you should call that because regardless of your skill set, you should be aware of your body. But I don't know. It was also my first weekend reffing, and I was terrified. And so I was just like, yeah, let them play. Like, it was an accident. And the parents did not like that, and they let me know, and they let each other know, too. There was nothing at stake for this tournament. There was no showcase. There was nothing. It was a friendly tournament. It made me not ref for, like, 3 months. I was so scared after that. I was like, oh, this is how a 9U tournament is going to go? I'm not interested in finding out how any other game goes. But then I jumped back in. I haven't reffed this season, I think like your renewal goes like in September, October, kind of operates within the school year. And I did not renew this year. But I'll still, like, coaches will call me if they are doing like a camp and they're end of camp, they're doing a scrimmage, they'll call me like ref. So I do a lot lower stakes friendly reffing now. Yeah, reffing like got me back into the rink, but it's hard. It's like, it's really hard. Like, even at a low level, like, I think when you grow up playing the sport, you're accustomed to watching your team, right? And so when you're reffing and you're all of a sudden like, oh, I have to like keep track of who touched the puck last to call, like, was this offsides, was this, or like the delayed penalties, the icings, like, it was just a lot happening at once. And then it was that made me realize, like, oh, I think I just miss playing. So then I joined a league and then was like, oh yeah, I love hockey. Now I'm here.
That's so fair. That's crazy. 9U parents brawling it out.
I know. And it's like, it wasn't even like it was a travel team, I guess, because otherwise they wouldn't have been in a tournament. Like, it's not like it was in-house hockey, but like it wasn't like any crazy high competitive level. Like, I don't know. That was nuts. For that to be like my first experience reffing, I was like, I cut out for this.
But that's so fair. I mean, we joke about the theater to football pipeline in our high school was so crazy. The amount of...
Really?
Yeah, the amount of people who were in theater also played football, or if they were in show choir with me, they also played football. It was kind of crazy. Missouri. So...
I wouldn't have expected that. We had, so the school I went to was primarily known for their men's hockey, and... we had a football team, but they were not good, respectfully. But there was this kid who transferred to our school as a hockey goalie my sophomore year. He transferred in his senior year, and he was just like, he was so funny. Like, everyone knew who he was. It was a pretty small school. I think we had like 400 kids total. And they're all there for like particular reasons. And he comes in and he's just like this character, and he joined the choir. And so it's like the winter assembly where we're like or pep rally, and I haven't said that word in a while. We're like getting all amped up for like the sports seasons changing over. And then this guy is just who's like this new hockey goalie for us, ends up like on stage singing "For the Longest Time" by Billy Joel. And we're like, who is this guy? Like, he just came in and was like, I sing and I play hockey. And then he was like, I don't know. He was, he's still a very good friend to to this day. He's actually the reason why I started reffing. When I lived in Nashville, I found out 2 weeks before I was moving back to California that he had been in Nashville like the whole time I was there, and we just never crossed paths. So we got like breakfast one day, and I hadn't seen him in like 7 or 8 years. And he was like, oh yeah, like I'm reffing this game tonight. It was just like a youth hockey game. And I was like, okay. And I just went and I sat in the rink, and I like, you know, that like rubber smell of the ice rink. I don't know if you've ever been to like a youth rink that's not like an arena. There's like this like weird smell that every hockey rink has. And I like stepped in and I was like, oh my God. Like, it felt like, I don't have a metaphor, but I just like feel like I just like zapped back into my body and was like, oh, this is like a huge part of my life that I've like not thrown away, but just like disengaged with for the last 7 or 8 years. And I was like, oh, like, how'd you get into reffing? And he was like, oh, I just took this like USA hockey course. And then like he's trying to like ref professionally. But then, yeah, 2 weeks later I moved to Southern California, and I looked up the course, and there was one happening like the next week, and I went, and that was like my, butterfly effect. This guy randomly transfers to my high school in 2013. And then 12 years later, I work for the NHL. Like, what? So, very interesting.
Speaking of you working in the NHL, what was your favorite thing about working with the LA Kings?
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a novel experience. I grew up right in between New York and Boston, so my family are Rangers fans, but Madison Square Garden is very expensive, and so I had been to maybe one or two Rangers games in my life. I feel like you have.
She's covering her Devil's jersey.
Oh. No, I saw that. We love T-shirt. Yeah. Dude, at this point in my life, I just like the sport. Like, I don't know. I watch games. I follow players more than I like subscribe to teams at this point, and I'm just like, good play is a good play. Like, I don't know. I kind of miss that like ferocious loyalty to something, like, but what can you do? But
it's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. But like, I'd only ever actually been to like one or two NHL games growing up. We went to a lot of AHL games because we had the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, which were the Islanders affiliate, and then the Hartford Wolfpack, and so a ton of those games. But anyway, it was like the experience as a whole was just very novel. Like getting to work almost every single home game, and last season that I was with them, the Kings broke a franchise record for most home wins, like over 29. I think 29 was the record, and they finished with like 30 or 31. And so literally every game was just electric. Like it was so cool to like get to like see the behind the scenes of how things work from a game presentation standpoint, to a hockey operation standpoint, to like, getting to skate on the ice like with like my favorite players. Like that was so cool. And also like in LA, hockey isn't all that big, and so I also got a total ego boost off when people are like, what do you do for work? And I was like, oh, I work for the LA Kings. And they're like, what? Like, well, actually 9 times out of 10 the response was, what sport is that? We're like, oh, that's our hockey team. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. But then the people who cared were like, that's really random and not what I expected you to say. And I liked that response. But yeah, just like the novelty of it all, and getting to be a part of the team while they were making franchise history was just electric. Like we had a social media manager, and like she just has all these clips of us in the Zam tunnel where we would wait before we would go on the ice, and they would score, and we would just all lose our minds because it was just like, it was one of those things, like it just kept going, and you're like, okay, surely this is a fluke, we're gonna fall off eventually. And then we didn't. Like we just kept winning at home. And so overall that was so fun. Yeah, and then in addition to that, not every NHL team works like this, but at the Kings, the ice crew, like the people who actually like shovel the snow during the TV timeouts, it's run by their hockey development department. So by being on the team, I wasn't just working game days, I was working growing the game in Southern California, basically assessing what are the barriers to entry, why don't kids try hockey here, and how do we meet them where we're at. And so it was a lot of like street hockey clinics, getting to share hockey with people. Like a lot of times it was someone's first time ever even holding a hockey stick, teaching them how to shoot, teaching them what to do, getting to do on ice clinics. It's just really cool. It like opened up something in me that I didn't know was there, and that's what led me to coaching.
That's fun. Okay, so who is your biggest inspiration, whether that's on ice or off ice? Your just biggest inspiration in general.
Is it weird if I say David Bowie? It's like not hockey related at all.
It's your inspiration, yeah.
Or do you want like a hockey person?
No, I want whoever your biggest inspiration is, whether that has to do with hockey or whether that has to do with something completely different.
I'm a huge David Bowie fan as a creative and as like just a person, because the way he would regularly recreate himself and like he broke a lot of barriers at the time in music and in sound and even just in concept. Like the whole Ziggy Stardust project was something people had never seen before. And I think also as like someone who moved here and was like, I'm going to control the narrative of like what you know about me, like the whole alter ego concept was very fascinating to me. But like in later years in his career, as he like started sharing more about his process, like I think what people think when they see someone of like, whether it's like elite performance, athletically, creatively, whatever it is, there's this idea, and I have friends that say to me that everyone is fearless when they're doing it, and it's like, I don't think it's about being fearless. I think it's about overriding that fear, like, you know, like the whole like just do it scared thing. Like I had a friend tell me the other day, because I did this other side quest, and she was like, oh, you're so fearless, like you just try anything. And I'm like, I'm scared half the time. And it's just a matter of like, oh, that fear just isn't a good enough reason to say no to this opportunity. And I think like in a lot of Bowie's later interviews, he talks about that. I mean, like one of his most famous quotes are, he talks about his creative process, like that of like walking into the ocean. He's like, you have to get to the point where like your feet can just barely touch and your head is like just barely under water or like above water. And he's like, you're safe, but you're uncomfortable. And he's like, that's where the magic happens. Because if you're too shallow, you're like not going to try anything. But if you're too deep, you're going to spend all your energy trying to survive. And so I think like I've modeled a lot of my life after that, like space. I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah.
That's
no,
a good
I
answer.
like that. Okay, so if you could be a reporter for any team, NHL, non-NHL, other sport, any team, who are you choosing and why?
That's a really good question. I've thought about this a lot because I started my TikTok account as like, I want to report for a team, let me build a portfolio. But now that it's like, but like ultimately I was like, this is just an experiment, right? To see like, what do people care about? And as and like, what do I care about? What do I want to talk about? And as I've learned more about myself, about fans, and also about how networks work, I'm like, I don't know if I want to work for a team, because I don't want to be told what I can and can't say. However, if I could like work for a team and like do whatever I want, I think I'd want to work for the Flyers. Like, I feel like I just feel like they'd be a really fun, like fun organization to work for. I love extreme fan bases. I mean, growing up between New York and Boston, like two of the like worst fan bases ever, and also the best, and then like also throw Philly in that. Like I just think the way Philly has like pushed boundaries and like kind of reshaped what like fan engagement can look like with Gritty. Like I would love to like be like the reporter, like not equivalent, but like counterpart of that, where like it's kind of like like I love watching Paul Bissonnette, because I'm like, what is he doing? Like he's just like he doesn't care about polish or like refinement or anything, and he's just a character. And he's so fun to watch. Like at the Winter Classic, they're like, where is he? And he's just like on the stage. Yeah. Like like I don't know, like he's just there like having a good time, and I think he's like one of the only, I don't know if you call him a reporter, but like commentator. I think he's technically an analyst is maybe his title, which you cannot be an analyst unless you've played, I'm pretty sure. So that's another thing too, that if I took a reporting job with a team, I wouldn't be allowed to make analysis commentary. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm willing to give that up. But in terms of like just like fun, like I think it'd be really fun to like be based with a Philly team. I just think it'd be a lot to work with there. But then I guess like at an organizational standpoint, like I'm like, there's other teams that I've done a lot of research on team and organization culture and ownership and stuff, and I definitely have my blacklist, and then I have my like I've heard good things about like what Jersey has been doing since they've been bought over. I think they're with Harrison Blitzer now. Vancouver, I've heard like really good things and then not really good things about. I'm curious about that.
Olivia McDonald is one of my goats. I love her so much. Her.
And like that's actually what sparked my research, was seeing her internal development, because I think she started as an intern.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times professional teams of any sport, like they'll bring in interns, but there isn't necessarily actual internal development, and they'll like bring in more external talent for those higher positions. So when I saw that she had started as an intern and then made her way to rinkside reporter, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, what is the culture here? And that's, from what I understand, like very common for them and their organization. So I'd be interested in that. I also think it would be really cool to be part of a team like that of Minnesota or Colorado. Yeah, like maybe more conventional hockey states. I don't know if Colorado is technically in that, but like Minnesota, state of hockey, like how would being in that environment differ from like, I don't know, Utah, or like, you know, not a conventional hockey state. And then it's like, yeah, then you have the whole Canadian market. I mean, like, I've never been to a Leafs game. I'm fascinated by their entire culture. Sorry, this isn't like a straightforward answer.
That's okay.
I think it would be fun to like be a different kind of reporter for a team like that of Philly or Boston, like somewhere that has like maybe a like rougher around the edges fan base, where it's like one of my favorite things as a coach, or not even a coach, just a fan, like talking shit is part of the sport, as a spectator, as a player, and there is a sort of bonding that comes along with it. And like capital J journalism, yes, I believe in it and I want to like further my career in a credible way, but I also like what I'm learning through social media is that we now just have this media outlet that people trust. And so I'm like, oh, if I could like go into an environment and like not talk to fans, but like also kind of talk to fans, like that would just be a really fun experience. And
Juliana's dream job.
Understand why the league or team wouldn't sanction that, but I also think like that is a huge part of hockey culture. Like when I worked at the Kings, oh, don't tell anyone this, but I'm telling everyone this. Like I'd be on the ice and someone would be on the glass like wearing the away team jersey, and I would just look at them and like go like, what are you doing? And, like, you know, like it's like it's so simple, it's so innocent, but like they love it. Like that's just part of the game. Like I used to have a Twitter account like back in high school, and like I would chirp Sidney Crosby like every single day because like be like, oh, like like, you know, like I don't know, we just like talk smack, and like yeah, I'd just be really curious like what that would look like. And you know, maybe that's not like a reporting thing, because maybe that does have to stay capital J journalism, like polished, refined, and I, like I said, I do want that credibility, but I also like deeply love the culture of hockey. And I guess like if we're taking Biz as the example, like Chicklets versus TNT, you know, it's like he's still Biz, but like what he says on either is like a little bit different. But anyway, I can't give a straight answer. I just say stuff.
That's okay. All I can think of is I think I was watching a Devils and Phillies game, and Gritty just puts a pie in the face of the rinkside reporter. So when that was your answer, that's like the only thing I can think about. Like just getting harassed by Gritty while you're trying to do your job.
Oh yeah.
Just seems so
They have like a whole section where like they like preface it by like, hey, you're in Gritty's section if something happens, so you know.
It's like the splash zone. Like like at SeaWorld.
Oh, Gritty.
Gritty. But yeah, like somewhere I would really love to be part of a team that had like just such a prominent culture. And when I think of teams like that, I think Philly, Toronto. It's funny because I don't know if those cultures are good ones, but
Toronto fans terrify me. Like, I enjoy watching the Maple Leafs, but I'm not calling myself a Toronto fan. I will follow the Maple Leafs, but I am not a Toronto fan because they terrify me. Exhibit A, Mitch Marner.
Like a Leafs game at like any other arena is like, oh, you're at a Leafs game. Like, they're so loud. There's so many of them.
I believe it.
But
okay,
yeah.
So if you had to broadcast or report for a sport that wasn't hockey, what sport would you choose?
Great question. I feel like objectively I probably know the most about soccer, but I don't follow professional soccer, so I like don't really know that. I was thinking about this, and I was like thinking about like all the obscure Winter Olympic sports. And I'm like, you know, I like really wanted to get on like the Team USA like hockey team for Milan. Didn't happen, which is fine. But like literally like yeah, like any like Winter Olympic sport would be so fun because it's the same thing that fascinates me about hockey where I'm like, oh, you can't just like stumble into playing hockey like the way you can soccer, basketball, football. Like in all those sports you have the advantage of like assuming you're physically able, like you have the advantage of walking and using your hands your whole life, but like strap on skates and like all of a sudden you're like not really relying on anything intuitive, like you have a stick in your hand, like that's a whole different skill set to learn. Put it together. Hockey, that's horrifying. Figure skating, like they're like I can ice skate, but I can't skate in figure skates. So it's like that's a whole other world. Skiing, the luge, bobsledding, like there's such like niche sports. Sorry, this is me not giving you a straight answer again. There's such niche sports that like you don't really think about until the Winter Olympics are happening, but it's like, oh, obviously they're like training year round and years in advance for these. And so like I would just be so fascinated to like enter into that world of obscure winter sport. Curling, like hell yeah. Like I don't know.
Curling.
I don't know. It'd be fun.
So glad you brought up the Olympics because a little birdie told me, and this little birdie was you in Trailer Park Sports Network comment section, told me that you tried out for Team USA's handball team when they just had recent open tryouts. What was it, last weekend? Okay.
I told no one. I told my mom and dad.
How was your experience? How did you feel?
That was so cool because Coach Jackie, who's a creator on TikTok, posted, and I saw it as most of the people that showed up the night before. And she basically was like, oh, what sport could you try and get good at in the next 2 years and like compete to be an Olympian? And she was like, oh, the U.S. women's handball team hasn't qualified since 1992, but because they're hosting in 2028, they get an automatic qualification or automatic entry. And she was like, open tryouts. And I looked and it was like 20 minutes away from where I lived. And I was like, I love side quests. Like, I have been doing things for the plot my whole life. And I was like, oh, that'd be funny. And then I like looked up a video because I didn't even know what handball was. I was picturing like wall ball, like that you would play at recess with like a tennis ball. And then I realized like, oh, this is like basketball meets lacrosse meets like it's a very high contact game. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm just like scrolling through the comments and I was like, oh, I bet like a soccer goalkeeper would be really good at this. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's find out. And so then I went and it was so life-giving to be, even just for 48 hours, be back in an environment of like intense competition and like surrounded by so many elite athletes. Like a lot of us were like D1, D2, D3 athletes, or similar to me where you're like on that trajectory, but like ended your career due to injury. So we're all like in our like mid to later 20s and like I think a lot of us were just like itching for that community again, but also like that challenge that I can't quite find at any recreational league that I play in. Like I went to stick time 2 nights ago, just to, like practice some like stick handling. And I was like, ended up just like messing around. I was like, I just like can't for the life of me, like take things seriously without like someone, not necessarily someone, but like there needs to be a cost, right? And so like just the idea of you know, if I go, this is a funny story. If I make the team, this is a crazy story. And if I don't, this is a funny story. Like, there was, like, no matter how I spun it, it was just going to be a cool experience. Mm-hmm. But then it's like we all arrived, and it's like we immediately went into fitness testing. So we had to do the pacer beep test. Mm-hmm. We had to do this T-test where you, like, sprint forward, hit the tape, side shuffle, and then backpedal. And, like, she wanted us to, like, record, like, 6-second times, and most of us were getting, like, 8s or 9s on that. But, like, even that, I was like, you get, like, 3 shots at the T-test, and I was like, I did my first one, I think I got a 9.71, and I was like, oh, I have to beat that. Like, and it was just, like, immediately this, like, sense of competition, like, came back up in me, and, like, I think everyone was feeling it, but rather than high school, where you're in high school and you, like, take that competition, you, like pin it on each other, like, everyone was just so supportive of one another, and we're like, dude, you got it, like, oh, that was insane, like, everyone was just, like, complimenting each other's athleticism. And, like, going back to my story prior about how I moved to California and I told no one of my athletic career and was like, as far as you're concerned, I'm just a musician. Like, to be in a place where that athleticism was celebrated and encouraged and pushed was, like, I don't know, it just kind of, like, in some ways I felt like I was 16 again, but in other ways I, like, felt like, oh, all roads have led me to who I am today, and, like, how I'm able to be in this moment and process these emotions. And then, like, the sport itself was so fascinating. Like, it was a no experience needed tryout, but, like, looking for former elite athletes, and so, like, everyone was there just to learn. And part of the camp was also, like, that of the work I did in hockey development with the Kings, where it's, like, grassroots programming, like, growing the sport. And essentially, so there were 2 sessions on Saturday, 2 sessions on Sunday. Then we had, like, some chalk talk and, like sat in the classroom and then, like, answered questions. And we found out, like, the next steps were she was going to review tape and all these things. And she was like, the next steps are, I'm going to invite 40 of you to this residency in Florida, and you're going to train twice a day for the next 2 years, and we're going to compete internationally, and all of you are going to be fighting for 14 roster spots on the Olympic team. And it was like, I think a lot of people, like, in the room kind of shifted, because I don't think any of us realized, like, that was the commitment, or even just, like, the possibility. And then, like, I just went home and I was like, okay, like, I don't know if I'm going to get invited, especially now as, like, that story continues to unfold. They've added, like, 2 or 3 more camps. And so the pool of talent that they're bringing in is just getting larger and larger. And I can't imagine, like, who is showing up to these camps, like, and it like, regardless of what happens for my participation in the story, like, this is a very cool story that we are getting to see. Like, it's like the Jamaican Cool Runnings team. It's like we're building an Olympic team because of TikTok. Like, that's something that we couldn't have said I mean, I don't know how long TikTok has been around, but couldn't have said that, like, 10 years ago, you know? But, yeah, so I think, like, speaking for myself and also just sharing that experience with a lot of women who were just excited to have somewhere to channel that again, and just, like, yeah, learn a new sport, be in a supportive environment, and compete again was just, it made me think, like, oh, maybe I still have something left in me to give. Mm-hmm. Because I think there's also, like, just, like, this fickle experience of, like, that of working in the NHL and, like, working with elite athletes on the everyday, and, like, sitting with this very peculiar feeling of, like, oh, like, I never got to see my career play out, whether I wanted to see it play out or not. Like, that was taken away from me with the injury that I had. And then, like, over the summer, LA hosted the NHL draft. So now I'm, like, sitting in this room with, like, 17 and 18-year-olds who are like, my future is ahead of me. Like, Matthew Schaefer got drafted there, and like, just watching everyone in the room be like, okay, like, this is, like, we're watching the next generation of talent unfold. Mm-hmm. And, like, that was the moment where I was like, oh, like, I'll never know what my career could or could not have been. And now fast forward 7 months, And I'm like, am I gonna be an Olympian? like even like whether I get invited or not, like even just that possibility, like it is like healing something in me, just to know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool. I'm really glad I went.
When do you guys know who the 40 are?
She had said like about 4 weeks.
Okay.
But that was before they added more of the camps. So I don't know if that's going to change. Like timeline or outcome. I don't know if like maybe they had like 5 people from our camp where she was like, I want these people, and then maybe after all of the camps she'll review everyone and will it down from there. Like I honestly don't know what the process is, but she said to like anticipate 4 weeks. So we will see.
We will see.
That's
so exciting. I could be like, I know an Olympian. No big deal.
You know, it's funny because my roommate forced me to go because she got home at like 11 o'clock the night before, and I was like, should I try out for this? And she was like, yes. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, go to bed right now and go. And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, just go, because if you get picked, that's sick, and if you don't, that's hilarious. Like again, just like there's nothing to lose here except like the $100 that the camp was, and she actually paid for it. That's how badly she wanted me to go. Pay for it. You're going. She's like, you have nothing to lose. And so I went to bed. I woke up and I went, and it like started as just like this very like happy-go-lucky joke of like, just see, you know, like I think when I signed up there were 30 people signed up, and then they told us that 120 people had signed up and 88 showed up. And so, which is huge. Like if you're just looking at like growth of the sport in general, that's massive. And now they've had to add camps. They added one in Colorado today. They have one in Florida that they had planned on. They had added one in Orange County after the Long Beach one was such a success. But like I went into it being like, you know, I haven't like played in years. I'm still active and I'm still athletic, but definitely not to the level that I used to be. And so I went in like with this like, sure, of course you like hope that like you are wanted or chosen or whatever. And then as I'm like, as I'm going through the week, my roommate is like, how's the competition look? Like, do you think you have a shot? I was like, it's really hard to say because like the fitness testing was one thing and I scored like very average. Like there were people that like in the like the pacer test, like some people stopped at 5, some people made it to like 11, and I got a 7.6, like literally right in the middle of everyone. And then when it came to like actual like learning, like on Saturday they did like a technique portion, and I asked them, I was like, what's more important, saving the ball, because I was trying out as a goalie. I was like, what's more important, making the save or doing it with the technique? Because the handball goalkeeper technique is different than that of soccer. And at that day they had said the technique, work on the technique. I don't care if you make the save. I want to see that you're adapting to this new style of play. I was like, great. And then the next day we had a morning session, and then the afternoon session was just going to be scrimmages. And we had this chalk session beforehand, and she was talking, the head coach Sarah was talking about athletic IQ and just wanting to see like our instincts, and then see like she's like, I know none of you know this sport. I'm trying to see like where your instincts and who's coachable, who's trainable, where are we starting from? And I went up to her and I was like, hey, this coach had said this in the goalkeeper training, but for the scrimmages, like, do you want to see us trying that new technique we just learned, or do you want to see me be a soccer goalkeeper? And she's like, be a soccer goalkeeper. And I was like, oh, okay, game on. And then we scrimmaged. I still have bruises on my legs because you're diving on like a basketball court. But it was so fun because like in soccer, like I said, like there would be games where like the ball would be in the other half for most of the game and I'd get like close to no action. Like it's such a big field, but in handball, it's a condensed space. And then we were condensing it even more, playing on a basketball court. And so, like, the back and forth was so fast. Like, I was winded, and I was, like, within, like, a 6-meter semicircle. Like, there was just so much movement, and it was just go, 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 back and forth. I thought I was just playing one game, and then they asked me to go into another game, and then they asked me to go into another game. I was like, okay. And then when I finally finished, I stepped off the court, and there was, like, a men's coach there who had played in the 90s, and he, like, pulled me aside, and he goes, hey, oh my God, he said the coolest thing ever. He said, if that's how good you are now, I can't wait to see how you play when you know what the hell is going on. And I was like, that's really cool. Like,
yeah.
Sick. And so I don't know, I think from that comment, I'm like, is there a chance? But also, like I said, there's now, like, the talent pool has, like, that net has been cast so much wider than initially. So, like, I don't know. Like, I truly have no idea. But, like, ultimately, like, everything I had said about the competition just being, like, in company with like-minded female athletes was incredible, and, like, something I want to prioritize now more in my daily life or weekly life. But then also, like, getting that comment was, like, really special to me, and I'm gonna, like, think about that for a while. So, and then, yeah, so, like, at this point, whatever happens, but, like, it was really, really cool thing to be a part of, and I, like, can't wait to see where the team goes and how it evolves from here, and just, like, the story of the, what's it called, the automatic entry. I don't know what the official term is. I feel like I should.
That's crazy. I just can't wait.
I can't wait either. I have no idea.
I know. I hope we get to follow along on your journey. I hope. Good news. It's going to be good news. Putting it out there right now.
I'm down.
And then getting to see.
I had to, like, think, and it's funny, like, telling you this, because I literally talked to, like, 2 people in my life about it, because I like to, because I'm like, oh, if I get this call, like, the turnaround's very quick to, like, move to Florida to do this residency. And I'm like, I love my life in LA. I love my community. I love my friends. I love my work. I love where I live. And it's taken me so long to get to this point of fruition of my dreams from when I was 13. Like, I've been in California for accumulatively, like, 5 years now, and I feel like only in the last, like, 6 months have I been living the life I dreamed of living. And that's beautiful, and that is worth celebrating. And is it worth giving up? I don't know. Is it, like, I don't know. And so I've just, like, I, like, kind of want to, like, I've been thinking about it because I want to, you know, if I do get invited, I want to know where I stand. And then if I don't get invited, I want to know, like, all of the emotions that this experience brought up from my 16-year-old self. And it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a win-win. Like, I have gained understanding of myself, and I tried something new. And, like, yeah, you can't lose if you're doing that. So we'll see.
We will see. That's crazy.
But, yeah, I'm also just excited to see, like, if any of the girls that I met, or women that I met this weekend, like, if they make the team or make the camp, like, just following along and being like, oh, like, I don't know. I feel like as people, we're just all craving to be a part of something, right? And so to even just get, like, a glimpse of that is so, like, I don't know, such a privilege.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you.
Sorry, I talk so much.
No, that's perfect. Sometimes Juliana and I don't talk enough, and so it's a shorter episode of us just literally saying whatever comes out of our butts.
Also, my co-star just popped up and said, "You are ready to embark on a quest. It will be a lonely adventure."
Right, so maybe that lonely adventure just happens to be in the Sunshine State.
We'll see.
We will see.
We will see.
If you make the Olympic team, I'm going to the Olympics. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
We joked about going to the Winter Olympics this year. Crazy joke.
Ended up so hard. It was so hard.
ended up going to the Hughes Bowl because that was more financially smart. Not even that financially smart, but just more obtainable than going to Milan.
Wait, no. Did you go to the canceled Hughes Bowl though?
Yes.
Or did you go to the most recent one? Yeah.
No.
I was like,
yes.
You were flying there, and I was like, all right.
No, Juliana's literally on the way because she's in Missouri and I'm in Dallas. Literally on the way in Dallas, almost to my apartment. I'm on the phone, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I have to hang up on you right now because something crazy just happened and you don't understand. He was like, okay. And so I hung up. I called Juliana. I was like, they traded Quinn Hughes. Literally the day, but we left on Saturday.
Okay, so how do you guys know each other?
We went to high school together. We actually managed football together. And so, yeah, that kind of started all of it. That was her freshman year and my sophomore year, and we've been friends ever since.
I love that. Well, yours
You won't leave me alone.
Yeah, that's usually my best friend from high school made me sign a friendship contract, saying like, "Hey, you can't get rid of me. Like, I'm for life." And I was like, "Okay."
Juliana would just request me on Venmo and be like, "Pay me $5 because I'm your friend."
Friendship fee.
Yeah.
That's so funny. What year did you guys graduate then?
I graduated in 2020. Graduate very loosely.
COVID.
Yeah.
And then I was 2021.
Nice. Okay. Cool. 2016. Tell me the heart and goal behind the podcast and how it's going so far and all that jazz.
Honestly, Juliana and I, when we get together or we're like on the phone or something and I just need to call someone on the phone, we're always yapping about sports. And so I was like, why don't we just yap about sports in the form of a podcast? Well, I think it all started because we made a video talking about, it was a preseason game. Yeah, it was the Dallas Stars versus the St. Louis Blues preseason game. And I was like, we just have so much thoughts. I was like, let's make a video for her press box. And then after that, I was like, what if we started a podcast? Like, would that be crazy? And she said, yeah, that would be crazy. And I said, okay, so is that a yes or no? And so now just... We did it. We went weekly. Like, we usually film Thursdays, and then the episode would come out Sundays, and we basically just yap about things that happened in sports. Throughout the week, we just each add notes to our notes app about what we want to talk about. But now, since I'm in grad school and I'm a little more busy, we do every other week. And then one of my goals for this year was to have a special guest. So for, the first episode of the month, we just yap about what's happening. And then the second part of the month, I have a list of people I want. You are on there, just several people from TikTok and Instagram who I've had mutuals with, and then also some of my friends who are were collegiate athletes, are collegiate athletes, all of these things, and just being able to talk about them, about either playing sports or working in sports or their sport environment. Basically, I don't know, we just like to talk, and so thus the podcast was born.
That's so fun. I love that. What is your goal in sports? Is it to be reporting and broadcasting? Is it to be more on this end of hopefully having a platform that takes off? What you're in grad school, what's your vision?
I think I would really like to do social media. I feel like I've always I grew up with social media. I've had it probably far too young, but I just think it'd be really fun to run social media for a team and work in that aspect. I'm not opposed to reporting. So my bachelor's degree is in theater education, so I have no problem performing and talking and that kind of stuff. So I think that would be fun. But my dream that started all this, maybe I'll go to grad school for sports. I want to be a general manager, specifically maybe the first female general manager in the NHL, because they've never had a female general manager.
Yes, ma'am.
Because, like I said, I have that theater degree. I like to be in charge. I like directing. I like moving pieces. I like being able to pick the right people for my cast, or in that case, my team.
Yeah, I'll do it for a team.
Yeah.
I love it. That is amazing, and I support that.
Thank you.
And that's going to be sick when you do that one day.
I can't wait. I hope that one day our teams come together while you're broadcasting and I get to see you.
I know. Well, actually, I have family in Dallas, so I visit there at least like once or twice a year. So next time I'm there, if it's in the season, we should hit a game for sure.
Absolutely.
And I just have one of my friends from here just moved to Dallas to take a job with the Stars. So another reason to visit. So I believe we'll see each other sooner rather than later.
That's exciting.
That's fun. And you're a Vancouver fan.
Yes. And so technically they're my second team. You know, they always say the team picks you, you don't pick the team, right? Yeah. And so I've always been a fan of like not Dallas, but like Texas, and then like Texas teams. Like everybody in my undergrad, they're like, oh yeah, Madeline's from Texas. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm from Missouri, guys. Yeah. But they just like assume like I'm a big Longhorns fan, like that kind of stuff. And so when I found out that Texas had a hockey team, I was like, oh, well, that's my team, naturally. Like, who else would I pick?
And they're sick.
Exactly. But my favorite player was Quinn Hughes. But I'm still, yeah. Being a Stars fan.
You made it sound like he died.
And then being a Wild fan. No, literally.
I have to retire it. I'm gonna get like one of those jersey frames things. He signed it. And like frame it and like retire it. So girl, I'm with you.
But then like after finding like Quinn Hughes, and I was like, oh, the Canucks, and then I just like so many of them. Unless something happens to Connor Garland, then I might have to like really rethink my loyalty, because Connor Garland is my 5'8" bestie. He doesn't know it, but
Connor Garland is one of my like most underrated players, because people are like, oh, whatever, he's 5'8", and I was like, dude, he has such a unique game. Because he has to play to his side his size. And like, he's just so fascinating to watch because he is kind of in his own world, and he's out there on the ice doing things that I feel like guys don't always know how to read, because he's developed his own style because of his size. Mm-hmm. So
he's also a dog. Yeah. I love Garland. I also really like Sherwood, so I am upset about the trade. Honestly, my ideal place for him would have been Boston, but at least I like San Jose, and he didn't go to a team that's like, at least he didn't go to like Vegas or any of the teams
that'd be so sad.
Don't like.
That would be so sad. Yeah, no.